Hey there everyone, this is Jeremy, the Music Andy, and we're here today to talk about Timewave Zero from Blood Incantation. This is a four-piece group coming from Denver, Colorado. They're more known for death metal, for progressive metal, but now they're taking a much more space, ambient, progressive electronics route. Think Klaus Schultz, Daniel Lopatin, Kraftwerk's Autobahn, and if you really don't know space, ambient, progressive electronics much, don't worry, it's not gonna hurt you, especially space ambient. This is the band's third album in their discography. It is composed of 8 songs that are split into 2 chapters with 4 movements in each one. IO and then EA. I gotta admit, this is gonna be the first album that I'll be hearing from the band. Like I said, I know they're more known for a death metal, progressive metal, and I know that they're very highly regarded in death metal and the metal community as a whole. But from what I'm seeing on this album is that there's a lot of hate going on for it, and I don't know if that's in the sense of it's not good ambience-wise, or if it's because it's a band trying a new style of music, and I really hope that it's not, because nothing sucks more than when you crap on a band for trying a new sound. So with the hopes of going against the grain and liking this album, I'm going to dive in head first with the first track, IO, first movement. Very creeping on the first moments of this. This soon becomes a much more whirling environment through all the synths. They start beginning more and more rapid, kind of cascading over each other violently. The light glitches of keys kind of sprinkled here and there make a very ominous environment around it, and should I say spacey environment. It's euphoric, it's surreal, it's a perfect vacuum. There's no sound escaping, there's no holes in this, everything is just kind of floating. The second movement really kind of moves up the intensity. The glitched keys that were kind of sprinkled here and there really start ringing more and more as a synth loop starts grabbing your attention on this track. From here, the background is going to be constantly evolving in sound, in tempo, in progression, and just overall feel of this entire track. What once felt like a very easy journey through the solar system is now becoming a lot more unsettling, uneasy. I'm almost getting an urgency feeling listening to this. These synths become a lot more sharp. They almost get this inhuman-like crying effect on them. The third movement of this only intensifies what is going on, and it almost has this suction cup-like quality to it. I feel like I'm being sucked into another portal, into another dimension, and again, everything is just kind of tightening around me in this bubble that I find myself in. At times, there's almost this didgeridoo little sound kind of springing off in the background, and then an acoustic guitar comes sweeping in and it's playing this mysterious, anxiety-riddled tune. The bass begins really kicking up waves, and all of these sounds and tones are just swarming each other, really creating this busy environment, and I absolutely love it. It's so overwhelming, but at the same time, it's so calming and euphoric. On one hand, there's so much space for my mind to kind of freely wander around and listen to all the instruments, but at the same time, these instruments are playing so frequently now that I'm kind of getting that urgent, anxious feeling that I was getting before. It really depends on your mood going into this album, on what you're kind of going to focus. I've done 3 listens on this, and 2 of them were relaxed, and 1 of them I was a lot more focused, and I was getting those anxious feelings. The 4th movement is just used as a calm down. It then has a swell, and then a calm down again. The didgeridoo remains in the background if you were concerned about that. The second chapter of this, the EA movement, starts off a lot more intensive. There's this synth loop that is played throughout the entire thing, and it becomes skewed, stretched, distorted, and just thrown all around this track, constantly progressing it and kind of chameleoning itself to the background of the environment that's being played. The second movement is a very easygoing track. It moves gently into the third track, which then brings in the acoustic guitar again. And this time it's a lot more direct and it's a lot more attention grabbing and used as the main loop on it. This is when I think everything kind of starts falling apart. The bass is signaling for all the other instruments to really start crying out, the synths rather, and it just becomes a very intense little atmosphere to listen to. The fourth movement is very heavy at the start of it. It's got a deep bass on it. It's very menacing, It's kind of no hope, that kind of feel. The bass synth begins absolutely swallowing this track, while the little synths kind of flicker out lights until they ultimately emerge out of the track, and then it just fades out into nothing, and so that is the end of the album. What did I think of this album? I thought it was a solid ambient album that used a good use of progressive electronics in it. I didn't have the bias of them being a metal band going into this because I didn't listen to them as a metal band. This is my first listen to them, so I know them as an ambient band now. I like that on each one of my listens that I've done with it, all three of them, I got something new out of it every time. I was having my attention focused at different parts, which is kind of what happens with ambient music. You find yourself fading out and then having your attention drawn in, whether that be on your own free will or it be on the creator pulling you in. And I'm going to say it's definitely the last end of it. That's what the point of ambient music is. I'm thinking 7.6 space shuttles out of 10 on this one. What did you think of this album? What albums would you like me to review in the future? Please leave a comment below and let me know. Subscribe if you like the content. I hope you have a wonderful day. Surprise cat.